Hey guys, JamesMCD Reviews here. I'm recording this very early in the morning because my class got canceled. In the meantime, I figured I'd kill the time by doing another TVlog. Bit of a random one considering all the shows I've already committed to watching. Like, Moon Knight's right around the corner, I need to finish the rest of Cobra Kai, I need to get through the Star Wars shows, I had said that I was going to do videos on the Defenders series on Disney+. I really wanted to watch this show anyway, and I just finished all the episodes that are currently available. So today I'm talking about The Owl House. This is the new animated series on Disney Channel, written and directed by Dana Terrace, who was a storyboard artist on one of my favorite shows that I'm also needing to do a video on, Gravity Falls. And this show is the complete opposite of Gravity Falls. It centers around a teenager being whisked away to this magical land full of monsters and weird creatures. She goes to live with an elderly con artist with a mysterious backstory in her house in the middle of the woods. While she's there, she meets new friends, one of whom is a very bratty teenager with overbearing parents who later becomes an ally. Oh yeah, and there's also a demon voiced by Alex Hirsch. Why is this sounding so familiar? Okay, so I know that a lot of people who have lobbied criticism against this show have called it basically Gravity Falls 2.0. And yeah, it definitely borrows elements from Gravity Falls, but I do think that it has enough of its own thing in its characters and its world and its lore that it can be classed as its own sort of entity. So the story centers around Luce, this teenager who is into, very mythical, like, fantasy sort of stuff, but is also quite known for getting in trouble and not really fitting in. So after her mom tries to send her to this, like, normal people camp, for lack of a better words, she runs off and stumbles upon this magical land called the Boiling Isles, full of monsters and magic and witches and everything like that. She eventually befriends a woman named Ida the Owl Lady, a scam artist and the most wanted criminal on the Boiling Isles, basically the Grunkle Stan of this show. And after an episode of shenanigans, she decides to stay with Ida under the condition that she teach her how to do magic and become a witch. As the episodes go on, though, she starts to realize that she's not getting anywhere from, Ida's, like, very anti-authority attitude and a rebel sense against, like, the traditional way of teaching magic. So she enrolls in witch school, basically, where she comes across a whole bunch of other new friends, one of which is Amity, who starts off as kind of this, like, bully, like, jerk character who later kind of grows a more softer side as you learn more about her. And all the while they get into some, magical shenanigans while this looming threat of a bigger evil lurks in the background. So first and foremost, I really like the setup of the show, mixing kind of like the Gravity Falls style of writing and humor with this, like, fantastical elements of something like Star versus the Forces of Evil, is a really good fit for, this sort of, like, serialized show. But I also like that it's not afraid to, even though it does, like, an overarching story does evolve over time, that's not its main draw. Its main draw is its setting and its characters. And that's one of the things that, like, after Gravity Falls came out, so many cartoons, especially kids' cartoons, tried to be a lot more important and have, like, overarching mysteries and stories and shit, but they didn't take the time to make the characters interesting. But, like, the story of this one and the overarching mystery, like, there are definitely mysterious elements of it, but it's not its main draw. Like, you would not watch this show if it weren't for, the really creative setting and the cast of interesting, dynamic characters. I think a lot of people could definitely see themselves in Luce, sort of the oddball who has trouble fitting in because she's kind of living in her own world. And she's very likable, even though she does, like, mess up a lot, especially in the first season. You still care about her as a character and you enjoy watching her journey. I think her connections with the characters around her are so great to watch. I love the sort of motherly relationship that forms between her and Ida. I love Ida as a character. I love the more you find out about her backstory. She gets more and more interesting as the show goes on. The friends are fine. Like, I don't hate Gus and Willow. I think they're fine. But they both have at least one episode where something interesting happens with them. But beyond that, they're just kind of there for like emotional support. But I am looking forward to like seeing how they progress as characters later on down the line. And of course, Amity. Everyone who's talked about this show has gone on and on about how much of a fantastically written character Amity is, and I could not agree more. Like, I feel like if Gravity Falls had more time, then this is what they would have done with Pacifica. They would have fleshed her out into a much more sympathetic character and had her as a proper like friend and even potential love interest by the end. And I think this show definitely does that a lot better. I think the way that she starts out as genuinely kind of a jerk and very unlikable, but then the more you like learn about her and her like backstory, and the closer and closer her and Luce develop as characters, the more that you start to care about her and everything like that. And it's just so great. I think the animation is absolutely astounding, especially during the fight sequences. It's so like smooth and fluent and colorful, and it's just so great. The humor for the most part is also really well done. I don't think it's as laugh out loud funny as Gravity Falls, but there are definitely a lot of like clever lines and a lot of funny sight gags and things like that. So this is definitely a show that warrants multiple viewings. I think season 1 is definitely a good like introductory season, but it's definitely not without its problems. I think for one, and I think even people who love this show have agreed that the pacing in season 1 is not the best. Like, I don't think it's terrible, but it does move really fast in certain areas and way too slow in others. There are certain episodes that, quite frankly, I could just do without. And especially there are certain episodes with plot lines that, you know, I saw done much better in Gravity Falls. So it's just kind of weird to see them done here and done not as good. But, I mean, it's, you know, episodic slice of life type of stuff, so But season 2A has been really good so far. The finale of season 1 was good. It felt a little rushed in certain areas, but it definitely did a good job at setting up, you know, the future of this show and the plot lines, some of the plot lines going forward with the Emperor and this, like, Emperor Coven and shit like that, and sort of the looming threat coming for them. And season 2 has done a really good job balancing the line of like story-driven episodes mixed with, you know, character-driven slice-of-life type of episodes. The development for each of the characters has been really solid. Even the introductions of some new characters, like the Golden Guard Hunter, has been really cool, and it definitely gets me excited to see more of them in the future. And of course, you can't really talk about this show without talking about the LGBT representation, which, I mean, do I really need to say anything? Yes, it's fantastic, it's adorable, and I am so proud that a Disney show was able to go this far with its representation, as opposed to something like Blubs and Derlin from Gravity Falls, where they're not allowed to say gay or boyfriend or whatever, but it's just heavily implied. Like, no, like, Luz and Amity have a genuine, like, blossoming romance that, you know, naturally happens, and they do really care about each other. They have affection for each other. They call each other girlfriend, and it's just so sweet to see that in a kid's show, especially a Disney show. It just really makes me wish that Disney actually gave a shit about LGBT rights and things like that, and not just whenever it offered them a profit. So yeah, so far I really love the Owl House. I don't think it's as great as Gravity Falls, but I think it definitely has the potential to be. And it is kind of a shame that I got into it so late in the game, now that it looks like Disney is kind of pulling the plug on it. because it apparently doesn't fit their brand, which is the most stupid argument that I've ever heard. But we've still got the rest of season 2, and apparently there's going to be some season 3 specials later down the line, so I'm going to enjoy this show for as long as I can before, you know, the rug eventually gets pulled out from under everyone. And I definitely think if you like shows like Gravity Falls or something like that, you will enjoy this show. It's funny, it's very well animated, it's action-packed, it's got, you know, lovable characters. It's definitely an enjoyable show to watch. It is a shame that it's being cut short so early. I do wish that it was able to find a home on Disney Plus, because that seems to be where it's thriving right now. It is what it is. Hopefully, you know, even though they said it's not for the Disney brand or whatever, I hope that people, especially the execs, take notes from this show and push for more, you know, story-driven, like older skewing, like Western cartoons, as well as more representation in kids' cartoons. So I enjoyed season 1 and season 2A of Owl House, and I'm excited to see the rest. If I had to rate it so far, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. But anyway, that does it for this video. Let me know down in the comments if you've seen the Owl House so far. What do you think of it? And what are you excited to see in season 2 and the rest of season 3? I promise more TVlogs are coming on all the shows that I mentioned earlier, the Defenders, Cobra Kai, Star Wars, everything. But this was one where I was like, it's only a few episodes and they're like 30 minutes each, so I can get through this pretty quickly. So until next time, share, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.